More rounds of rain have pushed through the area today. This comes on very saturated ground. Flood concerns are heightened in some areas. We'll take a closer look for you.
500 homes still without water in Estill County. I'll let you know when this crisis is expected to end.
Too much water is the problem at a popular spot in the Daniel Boone National Forest. We'll show you which parts of Cave Run Lake are closed because of flooding.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 5.
Get used to all the rain we've been having today. It's going to be sticking around for a while.
We begin with WKYT meteorologist Jim Caldwell and a look at this week's soggy forecast. I should say very soggy, right?
Indeed, very soggy, because it's not going to be light amounts that we track. It will be some of the amounts 1 to 3 inches additional to what we've seen out there so far today. Let's kind of break it down what you could expect. The rain threat that we are tracking out there currently, it will start to exit our area, but will linger in eastern Kentucky tonight and into Wednesday. They'll see a few more showers than we will here. A break for most of us, though, will come. We might even see some sunshine here in central Kentucky on Wednesday, but the heavy rain returns late Thursday night and especially going into Friday, and that's where that additional 1 to 3 inches will be possible. We've already picked up to 2 inches out there from this system today, so we throw on a little extra and we could run into some problems. Generally here in central Kentucky, an inch to an inch and a half, give or take just a little bit more than that, and then a ½ inch to an inch across southern and eastern parts of Kentucky. On the high end of that, closer to the inch in many locations. And you can see the coverage is starting to really wind down and it's starting to decrease. Just a few lingering showers, and that'll be the threat throughout the rest of the evening. More of a nuisance, really, as we head through the next several hours. We'll be tracking just a few hit and miss showers, and then a bigger push of moisture comes our way toward the end of the week, and we will track that hour by hour right into Kentucky coming up for you.
All right, Jim, thank you. While we have too much water coming from the sky, there still isn't enough coming from the faucets in Estill County.
Hundreds of households still have no service, but we're told the number is getting lower. WKYT's Monique Blair is tracking the situation in our top story at 5.
Right now, about 500 homes are still without water here in Estill County, but emergency management says they have made vast improvements on this water crisis since yesterday. Yesterday, about 2,000 homes were without water, and today that number is significantly lower. This water crisis was caused by a lot of debris clogging up an intake in the river. And typically when this happens, a blowout system is used to clear the debris. But a tree fell on the blow hose, disconnecting it. Divers went into the river yesterday and reattached the blow hose, and as of 4 o'clock yesterday, the water plant was functioning normally and at full capacity.
Overnight, we were allowed to get all the tanks inside the city limits at acceptable levels, and now we're pushing water as much as we can out into the far reaches of the county.
Estill County Emergency Management says there is still a boil advisory in place, and that means you should boil your water for about 3 minutes before consuming it. And they say they do expect that boil advisory to be lifted sometime Thursday. In Estill County, Monique Blair, WKYT.
The distribution center at the Estill County Fair Barn is open tonight until 8 o'clock. Supplies are running low, so only those without running water will be able to pick more water up.
All this rain is causing a huge problem at one popular destination in the Daniel Boone National Forest. Thanks to all this recent wet weather, it's a place that's not seeing a lot of visitors. WKYT's Sam Smith shows us the problems heavy rain is causing at Cave Run Lake.
Visitors to Cave Run Lake will see gates closed throughout the area because roads, parking lots, and boat ramps are flooded. Acting District Ranger Tim Ealing says these gates are up with visitor safety and resource protection in mind. As you can see, water from the lake is creeping up boat ramps and roads, drowning parking lots and posted signs. Ealing says he hasn't seen flooding like this since 2011. He says March is usually when visitation at the forest picks up, but with the snow, then the rain, and then the flooding, that hasn't been the case this year. There are 14 boat ramps, several campgrounds, and picnic areas in the forest. Most of those areas are closed.
You don't want to drive through standing water. You don't know how deep it is, how fast it might be flowing. There's debris floating in the water right now, whether it's logs or trash or whatever. So just a lot of potential obstacles out there.
There are areas of the lake that are still open. If you decide to come out, be sure to avoid the areas that are low-lying. At Cave Run Lake, Sam Smith, WKYT.
If you plan on visiting any of the national forests right now, you're encouraged to call ahead to see what's open. We continue to track the investigation into a double murder. Investigators say Donnie and Sharon Jackson were shot and killed over the weekend inside their home on Slate Ridge Road in Laurel County. Police say the house was then set on fire. We checked with the Laurel County Sheriff's Office today. They tell us they still need information and tips from the public. London Laurel County Crime Stoppers is offering a $1,000 reward.
Police say a parent accidentally shot a 4-year-old girl. Our county-by-county coverage begins in Taylor County. The shooting happened Sunday on Lowell Avenue in Campbellsville. Police say that one of the child's parents was repairing the gun when it went off, hitting the girl in her leg. She's recovering at Corsair Children's Hospital in Louisville. Police are still investigating. In Christian County, a school bus crash injured a student this morning. The bus ran off of Kentucky 109, swerved to the other side of the road and hit a tree. There were 5 students on board. One teenager went to the hospital complaining of leg pain. No other injuries were reported. And in Madison County, police need your help to solve a burglary. Berea police say that the person in these surveillance pictures was involved in a burglary on Short Street earlier this month. They acknowledge the pictures are not very clear, but they're hoping anyone with information will call them.
Hillary Clinton spoke publicly today about a controversy involving her email accounts when she served as Secretary of State. She's been under fire for using private email while she held the job. Marley Hall has more from New York.
I saw it as a matter of convenience.
After days of silence, Hillary Clinton spoke for the first time about her use of a private email account while Secretary of State. She said no classified material was sent on her personal account and no government rules were broken.
Looking back, it would have been probably, smarter to have used 2 devices, but I have absolute confidence that everything that could be in any way connected to work is now in the possession of the State Department.
Clinton says she handed over about 30,000 work-related emails and had no reason to save personal emails.
I fully complied with every rule that I was governed by.
Mrs. Clinton was at the United Nations Tuesday to deliver a speech about women's empowerment. But much of the focus was on the email issue. Republicans have accused her of avoiding transparency and committing ethical lapses.
I went above and beyond what I was requested to do.
Clinton said her server would remain private. The State Department is reviewing the emails that Clinton has turned over. Marley Hall, CBS News, New York.
A spokesman for Republican House Speaker John Boehner said Clinton's news conference raised more questions than it answered, and the American people deserve the truth. Kentucky Senator and Republican Rand Paul joined 2 of his Democratic counterparts to introduce a medical marijuana bill. The bill would partially legalize medical marijuana on the federal level. The idea is to remove the threat of prosecution for those using medical marijuana in the 23 states where it is already legal.
If one of these patients up here takes marijuana in the states where it's illegal, they would go to jail.
The bill also expands access for research, lifts a ban on doctors at veterans facilities from prescribing it in states where it's legal, and allows banks to provide financial assistance to dispensaries. Well, after finishing the regular season at a perfect 31-0, it is time for the Wildcats to start focusing on the postseason.
That is a nice ring to it, 31-0. The SEC tournament begins later this week, and our Rob Bromley's here with a preview in our Big Blue coverage. Hey, Rob.
Hello, and the story today is the postseason awards handed out, and as you might expect, the undefeated Wildcats pretty much clean up. Willie Cauley-Stein did not win Player of the Year. That went to Arkansas's Bobby Portis. But Willie is the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. He's the 3rd player under Cal to win it. Freshman Karl Anthony Towns, SEC Freshman of the Year. Since the end of January, Towns has really come on. He is the 6th straight player to win the honor under Calipari. Both Towns and Cauley-Stein named to the first team. And Devin Booker named the SEC 6th Man of the Year. He is on the All-Conference 2nd team along with Aaron Harrison. Pulling it all together, of course, John Calipari, SEC Coach of the Year.
He deserves it. I mean, all the tribulations and trials he's been through these last few years, and then have a team like this and being able to do something I have never heard of in the platoon system in college, and make it work, and just make all the talent on this team work and keep us all together. I mean, it takes a special person, not only a special coach, but a special person to make that work.
Towns, along with Devin Booker, Trey Lyles, and Tyler Eulis, all named to the SEC freshman team. What a day.
Thank you, Rob. It was. And the Cats will play either Florida or Alabama. Tip-off will be at 1 o'clock on the SEC Network on Friday.
Follow WKYT online at WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
Here is a look at the most viewed stories on our website right now. People want to know more about a terror suspect speaking out from a Kentucky jail, a crackdown on speeders, and Wildcat fans who made a big blue bearded vow. You can find those stories and more on WKYT.com. Well, in the coming weeks, Kentucky's race for governor will begin to heat up. The May primary is just over 2 months away.
From the minimum wage to the war on drugs, Kentucky's next leader will have a lot to deal with. A new WKYT Herald Leader Bluegrass Poll looks at some of the top issues on the minds of voters. New at 5, WKYT's Bill Bryant breaks down those results.
Good evening. We're a little over 2 months away from the primaries in the 2015 Kentucky governor's race. The campaign ads have already started on the airwaves as candidates jockey for their chance to replace Democratic Governor Steve Beshear. The first results from our new WKYT Herald Leader Bluegrass Poll look at what's on voters' minds going into the race. And here are the results. Foremost on people's minds is raising the minimum wage. 19% of those polls said it's an important issue, the most important issue in the governor's race. Doing away with Connect, Kentucky's health care exchange, which was mandated by the so-called Obamacare plan, came in second. Tax reform was third, and then it was education. Next on the list of most important issues, the teachers' pension fund. And rather than doing away with Connect, ranking sixth most important was improving the state health care exchange. Rounding out the list was battling drug addiction in the state and right-to-work laws. The Bluegrass Poll also looked at the battles for the Democratic and Republican nominations in the governor's race, and those results are ahead on WKYT News at 6. Survey USA conducted the Bluegrass Poll for WKYT, the Herald Leader, and our two partners in Louisville. Last week, they surveyed more than 2,200 adults. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
And for a closer look at the results of the Bluegrass Poll, just go to WKYT.com.
The University of Oklahoma has expelled 2 students identified as leading a racist chant at a fraternity event. The names of the students were not released, but the university president says they were dismissed for creating a hostile learning environment. A video posted online shows the chant, which included a racial slur and referenced lynching. The fraternity has been kicked off campus and has until midnight to remove all belongings from their house. Jurors continue to hear evidence in the Boston Marathon bombing trial. Today, they saw photographs of a note written inside the boat where Johar Tsarnaev was captured following the 2013 bombings. 3 people died and more than 200 others were injured. Tsarnaev's lawyers have acknowledged he is guilty. They're trying to keep him from getting the death penalty.
Target is cutting jobs. The company says it will lay off 1,700 employees. It will also close another 1,400 open positions. The cuts will mostly be made at headquarter locations in the Minneapolis area. It's all part of restructuring aimed at saving Target $2 billion in the next 2 years.
It is time now for better living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life. Burger King is making changes to its kids' meals. The chain will no longer offer soft drinks with the meals. Instead, they'll come with your choice of milk, apple juice, or low-fat chocolate milk. Child advocacy groups have been pressuring fast food chains to make that change. Well, it can be frustrating when you know that your baby wants something, but you can't figure out what it is. While they can't talk to you, there is another way that they can communicate. Holly Furfer explains.
All done?
Parents know this conversation too well.
Your baby is clearly trying to tell you something, but they haven't mastered the use of words yet. That's why some parents have turned to sign language as a way to communicate.
There are a lot of benefits to learning baby sign language. Typically, babies who sign tend to have better vocabularies when they do start speaking, and they tend to speak earlier than those that don't. It also reduces the frustration that parents feel when they can't understand their baby and their baby can't understand them. So it's a great way to communicate with your baby and reduce temper tantrums.
There are websites, DVDs, and even classes parents can take to learn the basics.
Studies have shown that children who sign with their parents as babies have higher IQs than those that don't. The average is about 12 points higher. In addition, children who sign with their parents as babies score higher on verbal tests when they're older, when they're in school.
For today's Health Minute, I'm Holly Furfer.
Colon cancer affects many Kentuckians, and now you have a chance to learn more about it. The Lexington and Fayette County Health Department is holding a colon cancer awareness fair. It's Thursday, March 26th from 4 to 7 at the Lyric Theater. People older than 50 can also get a free at-home screening kit for colon cancer while at that fair.